Support for Iowa Catholic Radio and Making It Personal is provided by Sarah Vocations Ministry. Learn more at joinserra.org.
Making It Personal with Bishop William Joensen on Iowa Catholic Radio and iowacatholicradio.com.
Welcome to Making It Personal with Bishop Joensen. I'm Jean Till, and on today's show, we're visiting with Nikki Biese, Executive Director, Biking for Babies, and the Central Iowa Ride for Life on June 29th.
Again, looking forward to that. Another grace here. You know, we have the Eucharistic pilgrimage. We've got priesthood ordinations. June is a source of much grace for us, so we'll visit with Nikki in a moment. But the Chrism Trail continues, too. So we're at St. Anthony in Des Moines today. We'll be at All Saints in Stewart tomorrow, and St. Patrick in Walnut. So
the Chrism Trail?
Yes, all right. I stole that from Bishop Connolly of Lincoln, so I can't take credit for that. or groans, you know, as it will be. And then next week we'll be in Louisville, Kentucky, the USCCB spring meeting, the Bishops' Gathering, and it is a working meeting. Looking forward to the hospitality of the good folks in Louisville, but doing that. Gene, I'd like to just touch on a little bit more serious and poignant matter that I know our listeners maybe will find. I asked them to listen with a discerning ear and to think about why the Iowa Catholic Conference bishops have great reservations about the law that was newly signed here at the end of May, Senate File 2340, the so-called illegal entry by certain aliens bill. It's a bill that makes it an aggravated misdemeanor for a person who's been previously denied admission or deported from the U.S. to be in Iowa. It does not allow police to make arrests on school property, church grounds, or hospitals, which we're grateful for. Requires a judge, after finding a probable cause for an arrest under the bill, to order the person released and to leave the country. Now, on the surface, there may be some features where we don't want people who with some kind of criminal activity, but I think we're talking about a different demographic here. And the Iowa bishops, along with many others, have multiple reasons why we find this problematic in the ways in which it does not recognize that there might be people who at one point were removed in their personal history, but they may be working through legal means to achieve status which would allow them. And so that they're actually in process of that. It seems to be a disproportionate emphasis on punitive sanctions, weakens family unity, reduces humanitarian protections. We think about those who might be fallen and caught up in the snares of human and sex trafficking, who might even become then reluctant to present themselves to try to report so that they might achieve a visa that would protect them in that traffic status and try to to liberate them from that. And so I think this is something, too, that is really more under the purview of the federal government. It's not, as we look at the separation of powers and where this lies, for the state to take this on, when, in fact, many of the county sheriffs, Iowa police chiefs, and even county attorneys who have not been forefront of speaking about this have some serious reservations about the enforceability of this law. And so, again, we want to gather tomorrow night, Sunday, June 9th at 7 p.m. in prayerful intercession as the case to seek an injunction against this law will be heard on Monday, the 10th of June in Southern District Court of Iowa in Des Moines. We're going to prayerfully gather, asking that God's justice might prevail in this, and what is most respectful of human dignity, family unity, the status of people who, yes, as immigrants, again, do they have a rightful way to find a place within our communities and are there, rather than a kind of premature and hasty extradition almost that is happening, which without the national approval, that is also another piece of that, to remove people to another sovereign nation without that country's permission. So I know we're getting into sensitive waters here, but I ask our people to consider prayerfully asking that God's justice might be rendered, and that our state can continue to be a place that welcomes the stranger, the immigrant, who has done nothing that would in any way compromise the public peace, but simply trying to find a place to call home, and can contribute and is already contributing in so many ways.
We're going to take a quick break. And when we return, we're going to be visiting with Nikki Biese. She is the Executive Director of Biking for Babies and the Central Iowa Ride for Life that's scheduled for June 29th. You're listening to Making It Personal with Bishop Joensen on the Iowa Catholic Radio Network and the Spirit Catholic Radio Network.
Support for Iowa Catholic Radio comes from independent realtor Chris Foster. Chris has served clients with everything real estate throughout Iowa since 2019. 641-891-8178 or online at the 4saleia.com.
Mercy One is proud to support Iowa Catholic Radio. Mercy One helps you live your best life. Find personalized care for you and your loved ones at mercyone.org.
Support for Iowa Catholic Radio comes from the Catholic Tuition Organization. Reduce or eliminate your Iowa income tax and instead give to the Catholic Tuition Organization and receive 75% Iowa tax credits. These tax credits are going fast, so reserve yours today and learn more about the Catholic Tuition Organization at ctoiowa.org. ctoiowa.org. The bottom line, it's for the kids and their futures.
Catholic Tuition Organization, a great investment in our kids.
Welcome back to Making It Personal with Bishop Joensen. And on today's show, we're visiting with Nikki Biese, the Executive Director of Biking for Babies. And we're talking about the Central Iowa Ride for Life on June 29th.
The Central Iowa Ride, obviously, we're going to shine a light on that. But we really kind of want to just, again, introduce people to the whole mission of Biking for Babies and the direction and strong leadership that Nikki has been providing here. The inception of Biking for Babies in 2009. But Nikki came on board. Nikki, it's so good to have you again, dear friend. How you're coming to us from Wisconsin, right? Up there in Packerland, is that right?
Yes, yep, that's where I am. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, and Iowa Catholic Radio has a footprint in Wisconsin. Obviously, we're concentrated in Iowa and Nebraska with Spirit Catholic Radio, but good. Things are heating up, right? And I can only imagine the intensity of your life right now. A wife and mother of, 4 or 5 children? Remind me.
We have 5 now, yep.
Okay. And then Biking for Babies. So what's occupying and consuming your heart right now as we approach the national ride in July?
Yes, you have got it. So we have 92 young adult missionaries joining us this year for our national ride, which is the week of July 7th. So 92 just special people who are undergoing their virtual formation, and that's a lot of people to be talking with and guiding as they go through our program to introduce them to the gospel of life and partner with a pregnancy center or a maternity home across the country. So, yes, things are really ramping up as it gets warmer outside. That means the ride is quickly approaching.
Yeah, and that July thing for us, that's in anticipation of Ragbri. It's kind of as a nice niche, I think, this year. It's ahead of the National Eucharistic Congress in Indianapolis, so well chosen as ultimately it will converge in St. Louis as it has traditionally there, and the great hospitality of people there. Tell me the typical profile of one of these riders, these missionaries, and as we try to have them embrace the gospel of life and the life guide, how is that instrumental to how they're formed?
Sure. So we find these young people ages 18 to 39 on college campuses, at their Newman centers, and at high school graduates. So as long as they're 18 by the time of the ride, they can join us. And these young people are looking for a place to put their pro-life beliefs into action, to put their faith into action. And they join us as either riders, bicycle riders, not motorcycles, as we've been confused a few times. Bikers for Babies is its own thing, or Bikers for Life, I think. But we ride two-wheel bicycles and also join us as support vehicle drivers. So they're really looking for an opportunity to do some good in the world and to show that being pro-life truly means we care about both the babies and the mamas.
Oh, yeah, and the matching with the pregnancy resource centers. It's a national footprint. I mean, we can think about the CaresNet Pregnancy Center, Catitas County in Ellensburg, Washington. We can think of New Iberia, Louisiana, the Unexpected Pregnancy Center, Tempe, Arizona. The list just goes on and on. Wausau, Wisconsin, Dubuque, Iowa, Attleboro, Massachusetts, Columbus, Ohio, Wexford, Pennsylvania. It fills 6 pages, and 90 or so missionaries this year. Is that a record number?
Yes, we had 79 last year, so 92 missionaries this year, and we're actually partnered with 95 pregnancy centers and maternity homes. As you said, across the country, we have the 5 in Iowa, but a tremendous amount across the states, and we have a missionary from Canada this year as well, so we're even going beyond the states.
Okay.
International biking for babies.
Yeah. No visa needed, right? Oh, and they are, it's one thing to ride, and most of these rides, I mean, it exceeds what we would assume normally for a rag-by ride of 60 to 70. Yes, there's the Caris Century route and things, but these are riders that are well into the 80, 90, 100 or more miles a day for the 7 days. Is that correct?
Yes. The average is 100 miles a day, but we have a few routes that get pretty close to that 140, 150 mileage marker. We are on the bike for 10 to 12 hours a day for 6 days in a row, so about 600 miles in those 6 days. And these riders, they don't have time to get off the bike, so they are pedaling about 16 to 20 miles per hour, depending on the route. You mentioned the routes that go into St. Louis. We've got 6 routes going to St. Louis. We also have 3 routes this year headed to Arlington, Virginia. So we traverse the Appalachian Mountains that way, which is quite the elevation. They go a little bit slower, but definitely a lot of effort and time, even just now training. They have certain mileage milestones they need to get in so that they can be prepared for the ride, which ultimately they're going to find a moment where they are vulnerable, where they have to say, Jesus, take the pedals. I need you to pedal for me because I can't do this anymore. And really the goal is that they stay on the bike safely. If they need to get in a support vehicle, that is absolutely there and available to them. But the goal is that we really teach these young people that vulnerability and the response to that vulnerability, so support crew being there for them in their great need, is what's needed in response to, the crisis of a woman in an unplanned, difficult, or at-risk pregnancy. We need to rise up in support of her because we want her to continue with her pregnancy and have the child and also be her best self, right? We want to treat her homelessness or her domestic violence situation and help her rise above that and have a better quality of life. And so we really want to connect the dots for these individuals.
Oh, and so this is, obviously there's an interior spiritual dimension of all of this. But then, as you say, maybe 10, 12 hours on some of the more demanding days. But then, as I've experienced it, then there's kind of a whole refreshment of energy. And maybe they come together to celebrate the Mass in one of the local parishes that are there. People are hosting them typically, with a meal that's been being provided. And they're giving witness, too. And so the work is not done once they get off the saddle.
They get a little break sometimes, but yes, on our Minnesota route, we actually ride through Des Moines, so some people have joined us for an event, as you're describing in the past, and this year, actually on July 10th, we'll be coming to St. Francis of Assisi Catholic Church in West Des Moines, and we can share more information as a link for that event. We want everybody to come out for Mass and just exactly as you said it, to hear from these young adults what they are learning, really what their testimony is, like God has put them on this crazy adventure, and how we're supporting local pregnancy resource centers and national ones. I
promise to be wearing clerics and not my cycling kit when I celebrate that Mass at St. Francis of Assisi and preach.
Is that a promise you can keep?
Yes. Now, the next day, if I muster the courage again to try and ride and keep up with them, but we'll see how that looks. No photos, please. But anyway.
Don't be shy, Bishop. You are definitely leading the pack there.
Yeah. And the pregnancy resource centers, we think in the state of Iowa that some of the developments that are here, the more options for maternal support bill, Senate File 2252, which passed and kind of offered some corrective, allowing in Iowa for the Iowa itself to be administrator of the programs at the local group. So it's not some kind of outside thing, but the resources such as counseling and baby supplies. Is there a lot of variation among the Pregnancy Resource Center in terms of the array of services that are provided?
Yes, not every pregnancy center is created equal. You have kind of your, I would say, basic model of a pregnancy test, ultrasounds, and kind of the crib club where mom and hopefully dad can come and learn how to be good parents, learn some life skills, and earn the baby supplies. And then it ranges, some of our centers are full pro-life healthcare centers, clinics really. So they offer well-woman care. They can actually offer that maternal care and deliver the baby. And then they've got pediatricians right there in the clinic, and these women are receiving this health care for free. And then we have our maternity home model, obviously, where maybe mom is homeless for whatever the reason is. And, sometimes there's substance abuse issues. As I said, there's relationship concerns. Maybe there's safety concerns with her partner. And this is a safe place where mom can go during her pregnancy, after the baby is born, and live there for an amount of time where these amazing volunteers and home staff are helping her find a stable job. And then the goal would be to find a stable home life so that she can live healthily with her child if she chooses to keep her child. And the goal really for us is to continue to help pregnancy resource centers improve and grow, because wouldn't it be amazing if they all could offer, that mom and baby care for free? And
the accompaniment, as you described, continues well beyond delivery, right? This isn't just like, let's get this baby, immigrating, from the womb to the world, but moving that whole pattern beyond. So all those other life skills. So there's really a holistic care. I know some of the critics, at least in Iowa, who opposed the Moms Bill, said, this is quasi-medicine. This is not delivering, according to the standard of care. And so I think, the integrity of the healthcare providers and others to stay within their proper competence and to not, in any way dissemble in terms of what's being offered and what's not being offered, or, kind of to seduce people to thinking that they might be able to get abortion services and then finding out, oh, no, this is not what we are. So I think, that transparency and integrity and then the quality, even as there's diversity within the different centers that are there. Yeah.
Absolutely. That transparency is so vital. And we have heard countless times where moms, or a pregnant woman has really felt that abortion was her only option, but needs, the pregnancy test, the positive pregnancy test to show that proof in order to get the abortion. So she goes to a place like Intervision to receive that pregnancy test. And what happens there in that very intimate moment of an appointment is, she's able to be honest about what she's looking for. And Intervisions will say, we do not provide abortions, but this is what we provide for you. And so many times these women have not been told that they can have this child and be who they want to be themselves, right? And have their career or stay home with baby, or maybe place that child for adoption. And Intervisions or these other organizations we partner with really speak truth to her when many times that she's never heard that, or she's never been told she's beautiful. And it's so complex, but we're really able to just hear these amazing stories of women being counseled in their greatest need and provided so many options.
Amen. And in fact, we can turn that criticism around, really, like who is offering it with greater integrity, the medical counsel and advice, when it seems, for some of the so-called, pregnancy centers, ultimately are tendentious in terms of that agenda toward abortion and delivery of abortion services without providing the options that women have, and capitalizing on their fear and exploiting that in that way. So I mentioned the Life Guide before. What is that? And, we think about John Paul II, St. John Paul, the culture of life and his gospel of life. What is the Life Guide, and is that something that is like a little companion for our people as they journal and take notes along the way?
Yes, thank you for pointing that out. So the Life Guide is, as you've said, kind of a devotional / journal, and really it is Biking for Babies' guide to renewing a culture of life for our young adults who go through our National Right Formation program. It introduces them to, the gospel of life. What is that? Why are we here? Who created us? God created us. What does that mean? That means we have inherent human dignity and worth just because we're a child of God. And for our young people to hear that first, it starts with us. So we speak that truth into them and just realize that my own life is worth everything, and it's what I do with my body that matters. And oftentimes, like I said, these young people are here to put their physical gifts, God-given talents to use for these women and children to raise awareness and financial support for our pregnancy centers. But we know that it also is going to take their own conviction that every life is a gift, and that's going to then allow them, after our program is done, to continue to live that truth and to continue to grow in virtue continue. So that's exactly what the Life Guide does. It starts a spark that encourages that virtue formation, grow in generosity, grow in humility, discipline, right? In order to get these miles in, they really have to dedicate. They've got to set that alarm clock. They've got to be prepared and put in the time so that they can be ready. And you would really want to set them on this lifelong trajectory of searching for God. And, for the hearts and the souls that join us, it definitely is an adventure. They're so attracted to the idea of seeing the country on a bicycle, right? Like, when do you get to do that?
Exactly.
Road trip, okay. But, I was asked to be on the board. Jimmy Becker, kind of the godfather of Biking for Babies. Your husband, Kevin, obviously also had an instrumental role. But the way in which then, on that board since 2019, and that association too, but just hearing the stories and the anecdotes and the sacrificial dedication. For you, Nikki, we're approaching the break, but you came into your role and have sustained this, even though it asks a lot of you.
Yes, thank you. It's been quite the ride, literally. We're in our 15th year, and, Mike and Jimmy, our two co-founders, were college students when they started this. They rode 600 miles across Illinois that first year, inspired after reading St. John Paul II's exhortation, "Woe to you if you do not succeed in defending life." And they knew that they needed to put their gifts to use for women in their community. Amen. And they just realized after that first year that there was such an incredible opportunity to create an event for young people to participate in the pro-life movement and really putting our faith at the forefront. And
Amen.
One of our core values.
Why don't we pause there, Nikki, and then we'll focus on the Central Iowa Ride for Life so we can get those practical details out for our interested listeners.
Well, stay with us as we continue our conversation with Nikki Biese, the Executive Director of Biking for Babies, and the Central Iowa Ride for Life coming up on June 29th. Now, for information on this ride, go online to bikingforbabies.com and then /local-rides. You can purchase tickets there, or I'm not going to be riding, but I want to support Bishop Joensen. I'm going to click on his image, and I can make a contribution to Biking for Babies in his honor. You're listening to Making It Personal with Bishop Joensen on Iowa Catholic Radio and the Spirit Catholic Radio Network.
Support for Iowa Catholic Radio is provided by the Sarah Vocations Ministry, including the St. Sarah Club of Des Moines and the Sarah Club of Council Bluffs. Sarah is an apostolate of the Worldwide Catholic Church dedicated to fostering and supporting priesthood and religious vocations. Sarahans strive to accomplish their mission through prayer, fellowship, and service to the bishop, priests, sisters, and all in religious formation, and in doing so to increase their own holiness. Learn more at joinsarah.org, joinserra.org. Thank you, Sarahans, for your support of Iowa Catholic Radio.
Support for Iowa Catholic Radio provided by Mercy College of Health Sciences, where you can chart your course for more.
Mercy College provides unparalleled clinical rotations, hands-on learning, accelerated education, and flexible schedules. Since 1899, Mercy College has been transforming students into healthcare professionals. Guided by Catholic values, our faculty put classroom theory into practice. Students are prepared for roles in service and leadership throughout their own careers.
Learn more at mchs.edu. Mercy College of Health Sciences, mchs.edu.
Welcome back to Making It Personal with Bishop Joensen.
So I lost count. Is this my fourth or fifth local ride? Typically it falls the Saturday right after priesthood ordinations here in the Diocese of Des Moines. But this year, June 29th, 2024, is a week later. So I should have all the more jets and stamina and passion to get out there. Sometimes we've encountered a few storms, but I think the dedication of the volunteers and others that are there. This is one of two sites in the U.S., Des Moines and Philadelphia, that are having Biking for Babies local rides. So we are privileged to have that, and it's been a great fun as we head up from Ankeny, St. Luke's Church, to up the High Trestle Trail. So again, Jean, just give us that information again for people who might want to check it out.
Sure. Go to bikingforbabies.com /local-rides. And as you click on the Des Moines one, and you're going to see Bishop Joensen's picture. I know. Click on it quickly, and you can support Bishop Joensen in his ride on June 29th.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. And again, not depicted in my biking kit, so anyway, so it'll be pleasant. It's official. And the recipients who will enjoy our support, not only our prayers, but material support: Agape Pregnancy Resource Center in Des Moines, Intervisions, which Nikki's mentioned, healthcare in West Des Moines, Moines, Martha's House of Hope in Ames, and Ruth Harbor in Des Moines. So there's a kind of an ecumenical, I think, teamwork that's going on with all this, too. Nikki, what points would you accent about this and the national ride, then?
Thank you. Well, first of all, yes, Bishop is riding again, so here's your chance, people. If you want to ride next to Bishop, you might not be able to keep up with him, but you can try. But I really just want to say that, we do these local rides, and again, only 2 of them across the country. We do them so that people can come out and have a great time celebrating life. We're all about joyful evangelization, and there's a variety of mileage options. There's a free 5-mile children and family ride, and then there's a 23-mile ride and a 48. So we'd love for you to come out and join us. If you can't ride, we would love for you to help volunteer, so you can reach out to us the same way if you go to the registration website and select that you want to volunteer. We'd love to have you. And the national ride, as we've said, is July 7th through the 13th, and we have 9 routes across the country. We ask that you pray for those missionaries as they prepare right now, and then especially the week of that ride. They wear bright yellow jerseys, and the goal is to just be very visible pro-life witnesses and to invite a conversation with people about the beauty and the gift of every life. So please pray for that and pray for those encounters that they may have. And if you are able to give, our goal for the local ride is to raise $50,000 for those local partners. That's a lofty goal. We appreciate any generosity you have, and Bishop Joensen does have that fundraising page for you to go to. And then also nationally, we want to raise $400,000 for our national partners across the country. So thank you for your generosity in support of life.
Amen. And, of course, Jimmy Becker, typically, the Godfather, he and I at least ride for the first half of that. Yes, once in a while I pull him along a little bit, too. But, Jimmy, he's such an evangelist. He'll peel off to, people say, hey, biking for babies, what's that, on the jersey. So, and he never misses that opportunity. So I, on the other hand, I'm afraid that if I stop, I won't start again. I'm at that age. So I'll talk to you about it afterwards. Yeah. But anyway, or beforehand, as we're doing today, Nikki, so wonderfully. The miles have not been racked up. It's still been mainly indoors on the trainer, which is an unfortunate thing. So, I'm not going to be, I'll be the one who's humbled this year, I suspect. So, yeah.
We'll see. You always seem to pull it out, but we still have a little over a month.
And we're grateful to St. Luke's Parish again, which hosts us and the good people there, as I was there recently for confirmation, but ardent supporters of life. Nikki, God's blessings on you. You're not going to be like Kirk Herbstreit on game day, ESPN, jetting around to the different rides, right? You'll end up in St. Louis, is that correct?
Yes, I will follow the Wisconsin route to St. Louis for our big celebration of life. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so grateful to the support people, those hidden people whose day extends even longer as they're doing laundry. But thanks to all who are listening. May the Spirit prompt you to consider supporting the Biking for Babies and our local Central Iowa Ride for Life.
This has been another edition of Making It Personal with Bishop Joensen. Thanks to our guests and to all of our listeners in Iowa, Nebraska, Wisconsin, or wherever you may be listening on the Iowa Catholic Radio Network and the Spirit Catholic Radio Network.
You can hear Making It Personal with Bishop William Joensen every week on Iowa Catholic Radio and iowacatholicradio.com.
Support for Iowa Catholic Radio and Making It Personal is provided by Sarah Vocations Ministry. Learn more at joinserra.org.